Hi, this is Jackie,
Hi, this is Diana.
and you're listening to Homebodies Only, where we welcome all bodies to join us as we break down and dissect HBO/Max series. And this episode, we are talking about, and just like that, season 2, episode 3, called Chapter 3. Um,
I like
I,
that it was episode 3. Do you think there was?
what do you mean?
It's episode 3 of the season and chapter 3.
Well, yeah,
Like on
I think they did
purpose,
that on
right?
purpose.
Yeah,
I think so.
totally.
I did listen to the Writer's Room podcast about this episode. So I'll try not to say too much from that because then it's not really our podcast and our information.
Right.
But it was really cool to hear them. It's very cool to hear them talk about it and pull it all together and everything. And I did love this episode. What did you think?
I like this one too a lot. I
Yeah.
didn't really care for the scene with Che and Miranda outside the studio. I didn't like that scene at all. And I had read some stuff on social media that were basically like, we're tired of Che's character.
I know.
They're so needy. It's one way. And then I was like, oh, this is why they were saying that. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what?
But I liked that Miranda stood up and was like,
Yes.
no, I'm out.
Yes. I was very
I'm
happy.
not a security blanket here for you. Like, I don't know, whatever.
And that she needs to
like an
pick
accessory.
her son
Sorry.
over. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are.
No.
Sorry.
No.
So that was the only thing I didn't like about that episode was, excuse me, that scene.
Oh, it didn't bother me. I don't like the whole being out of the city thing. That bothers me a lot. Because it's Sex in the City. Like I said, when it was Sex in the City and they went to LA, that bothered me. I was like,
oh yeah. And you know me.
Like, you're New York. Stop it. So
yeah.
So that kind of takes you out of it a little bit because they've said New York City is like back then there was 4 ladies and then New York City was the 5th character. So now there's more people and the characters in the show, but the city is a character. So
right,
it takes away from their part. I wanted to start off, but what are you drinking? You're not drinking alcohol.
No, iced coffee today.
Me too.
Hey,
homemade iced coffee. Yes,
it is from. I have my favorite coffee roaster is called Buffalo Coffee Roasters in Sanborn, New York. It's right down the street from my parents. I loved it so much when I went there. Her coffee is amazing to the point where I order it and have it shipped to me.
Okay, I think you told me that.
Her beans are just. I love everything about it.
This is so bad. I forgot the name of the coffee we get, and we get the whole bean, and we get it from a coffee distributor, and we're not supposed to tell people that. So I won't tell you this person's name,
sure.
But it's a gigantic bag. I mean, I have no clue how much. And like Dave meets him at the garage, and he brings the coffee. It's an Ethiopian blend, though. I do know that. And yes, what I've been doing now since it started to get warm outside is that the night before I make the coffee and put it in the fridge in like one of these type things. And then I put this one, or the one I'm going to drink it out of, in the freezer. So it's just cold. I mean, it's cold enough, but I do it that way. And I've been off the half and half for a while now because of different health stuff, but, and not gut stuff, but won't get into that. But anyway, so if people are doing non-dairy and non-soy, I think nut pods are really good. Toasted marshmallow, just a little bit of sweet. When I do hot coffee, I froth it. That's why I bought a frother by mistake. Didn't realize I had a built-in one into my coffee maker because I'm a moron. So anyway, okay. Just wanted to get. Oh, I'm using an OTA.
I love coffee talk. You know that.
I know. I'm using an OTA. Our OTA.
I love that.
What are these called?
Yeah,
What are these called? OTA is Ontario Teacher Association.
Tumblers?
Which were part of their union. Tumblers? Yeah, and it's red. I do also have our HomeBodiesOnly one sitting here.
Which we love. Yeah, typically if we record this time of the day, I've gone to All That Java for my favorite latte, but they had to close early today due to staffing issues. So I was like, well, home coffee it is.
I'm surprised you picked to record the podcast over working for them. I thought you'd be like, I'll fill in.
Listen, not to get too off topic, but last time I was there, I was talking to, shout out to Dallas, who makes a fine latte drink over there at the Hannaford location. I was like, hey, you know what? I really should get a summer gig here, like one day a week.
Yeah,
just pay me a coffee.
Maybe you can incorporate the
I
DJing.
It's great.
I think that you should do something like that, like a pop-up. It's a pop-up of Diana doing the coffee.
I told him, I said, I'm going to pitch the idea
seriously
sometime to Sam, who, that I know, that the owner of All That Java.
And bring your beats and bring your beats. Bring your music, your little speaker, like your Bluetooth speaker. I'm telling you.
Hannaford does play some great music over. I know you're a pickup person, but
yeah,
they actually have some good jams, and I do find myself singing in the aisles to the jams. I mean, they go from it's gregreat.
I go to the Hannaford by me to get produce a lot of times because the produce has been messy. Okay, we haven't even barely talked about the
let's
show.
go back on the train here.
So in the beginning, right in the first scene, Carrie runs into Lisette, like right by Bryant Park. She's going to have her jewelry show, and she wants Carrie to be there. I just have to point out, she runs into her, and then she runs into Bitsy like the next day
in a shop.
That is not common. No. I lived in the city. It took 6 years. Right. That rarely happens, especially 2 days in a row. I mean, if you're near where the person works, fine. But like, that doesn't really happen in real life. Anyway. Okay. So a big theme in this one is the city, like the safety of the city has gone downhill. And that is definitely true. Seema's bag is stolen. Her Birkin. Yeah. Like it's devastating to her because she bought that when there wasn't a wait list. I think she bought it like it was one of like her biggest. It was when she had a big sale, I think, like real estate sale, right? Did she say? So it really was sentimental. It's funny. I hear that a lot when I've heard like people be interviewed and when they made like their first big purchase was a purse. Like a really expensive purse. Bethany Frankel said that.
Yeah.
Now I can't think of anybody else, but I know she said that, and that it's like, oh, like this. Well, I made it. I don't know. Even if I made it really, really big, I don't know if I would do that. That thing was $28,000.
It's purse or shoes.
I think I could feed a country with that, like or more. Yeah. Like that. Just I don't mean to be a martyr or something, but I don't know. I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could do that. I could touch it. Maybe I rent it. Rent the runway with the Birkin so I can feel it. And
try it out. Yeah.
Anyway. Okay. I don't know. I hope I'm going in the right order. But when they go to the school, and the principal is talking, and it's Tim Bagley from somebody somewhere. It's Brad. I was like, oh. So of course I videoed it. For those of you who follow us on Instagram, saw the story. I mentioned him in the story. I was so excited to see him, and he re-mentioned it. And then I re-mentioned it. I don't know what the etiquette is on that, but I'm like, I'm not letting this go without
mentioning it.
But mentioning the mention. I always feel kind of stupid though, because then I know he looked at my re-mention. I'm like, does he think this is dopey? But whatever. I don't care. I did that. I was very excited. He plays such a good.
It was a great,
good at these parts.
Principal. Yeah.
Yes.
Or whatever they're.
Yeah, he's I think he's a whatever. Actually, I don't know. Headmaster. Yeah. On Gilmore Girls, I think they were at the private school. That was the headmaster. So basically, there is a MILF list going around. It's called Arbor School, the Arbor School or something. Charlotte and LTW definitely want to know if they're on the list. Then we go to Carrie. She is recording an audiobook version of her book. I am now an editor. I edited a book that was published, and plug Been There, Taught That by Greg Wineline. I'll link it.
You'll link it today.
I'll link it. I must say, I want him to do an audiobook so badly. Like, I see her doing an audiobook. I'm like, damn it. Like, it's a real book. I'm like, oh yeah. Competing with, Carrie Bradshaw. But I want him to do an audiobook so badly, but he really doesn't want to. He just wanted to get the book out. He's like, you could read it. No, this is a memoir of a man who taught for 35 years. He's about 72, maybe 73 now. No, like, I told the story. Like with her wanting an actress. No, doesn't work. I wish it was a real book, by the way, the Carrie Bradshaw book. Don't you want to read it?
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Like, that would be like a summer
this
on
isn't
the
a
sand.
real book. I know. Like, I
it would be on
book.
like Reese's book club thing. Right? You gotta read all the Reese picks.
Yeah. So of course she's reading chapter 3. And it's his death. And she's obviously having a hard time. And she's getting critiqued that she's swallowing her T's and she's popping her P's. And, it's interesting because I pay attention to that stuff, but I've listened to many audiobooks. You have to be natural. You can't speak like you're really trying to overpronounce. So I don't think that was accurate. Not that I've ever been to an audiobook recording, but
I was wondering what your take would be from the speech path.
No, I didn't
view about the way
she wasn't like important. Like if she was doing a really heavy accent and like important and it was like skipping over a sound, I'd be like, okay, what are you doing? So no, I mean, from my perspective, I thought she sounded great. I actually love hearing her read.
Yes.
Do you love hearing her read? Yeah. I'm like, please keep reading. I'll buy this audiobook that's not real.
I think that's one of the things that people look forward to, or at least I did look forward to on Sex and the City, was the narration. I was always a big fan.
Oh yeah, people are missing that. They said it in the Facebook groups.
Yes.
They're missing the narration. I don't know why they're not doing it. I don't know if they're just trying to be different. I don't know than the last series.
Yep.
Okay. She's having lots of problems with it, obviously getting upset. Then we go to LA and Che is running lines with Miranda. Miranda keeps getting stuck on, you're supposed to cry. Che is like, stop, basically, I'm not going to cry. Finally, though, Che does get upset because it's so fake. The story seems so fake. And side note, which makes a big impact on this episode, is Miranda got an Android. I was like, this is not going from an iPhone to an Android. This is just not. No offense to the Android users out there, but
no offense. But once you're Apple, I don't know anybody who's went from an Apple to any other type of phone.
No.
Do you?
No. And if they did, I don't think it lasted.
Like diehard Android, Windows, or whatever, like Motorola, whatever it is.
They've also, I don't think, ever had an iPhone.
Yeah.
If you've had an iPhone and went Android and loved it, definitely let us know about that.
Please do. I would love to hear your story about that.
So her phone is acting up. She's not getting messages. She doesn't hear it ring. She doesn't know how to apparently Androids apparently you can't use them.
No.
That's how they're making it sound.
They're not user friendly.
She hasn't heard from Brady and she's, a little upset. Jay's like, yeah, he's in Europe and with his girlfriend, he's fine. Right. Okay. Next thing, Naya is with LTW. She is doing the documentary. She's speaking on it. Basically, the mic falls into her shirt and the hot sound guy comes over. But my thing is she can't reach down her own shirt and pull it out. She's like, ah. I'm like, I don't think this would have happened. That was way too
deep.
Yeah. Way too intimate for nowadays. Back in the 80s or 90s, they'd be like, I'll shove my hand down your shirt.
No problem.
Basically, the sound guy does end up asking. He asks her out well, she says, oh, you should buy me dinner. And he's like, were you serious about that? And she's like, no, or whatever. But he's like, that's too bad. Okay. Then we go to lunch. They find out, LTW and Charlotte find out they made the MILF list. And they're like,
right.
And then Naya gets a text from the sound guy and she's squealing. But in the beginning of the lunch, I think this is when Charlotte is asking Carrie about the book. And she's like, you're so strong. So, but she's really, I guess I think that makes Carrie feel bad. And she doesn't really say how she's really feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So then we go to the audio recording. Oh my God, this part.
Ugh. This was.
She's reading about this shower
emotional.
scene. Oh my God. Oh yeah, I cried at this part.
Yeah.
And you can hear the shower running, and according to the writer's room, Michael Patrick King was saying that is the audio from the scene of the shower from the last year's series or first season. And even the music, it's all from that scene. And then like the words were blurry and all this stuff. And it was so good. And she also, the line, she says, he looked so small, I've forgotten how big he was. I'm going to cry. The whole thing. It's like, oh my God. Anyway, someone on one of the Facebook groups, I don't know if you saw it, said, I lost my husband, the love of my life, in December, and said something about this episode. I was like, oh my God. Okay. They're going to skip chapter 3 because she can't handle it. Oh, I forgot to mention that the guy with the stinky pits wearing the mask.
So was he wearing the mask because
he stinks? I know, right? Amanda is her publicist or whatever, right? Publicist or editor? Now I can't remember if she's she's not a publicist. Publisher.
I thought she was the publisher.
And she was like,
she was drinking fake coffee in it.
Oh, sorry.
At the flower shop again. Oh, with the fake coffee cup. I'm like, but we're drinking real looking by all means. Hopefully they're having a cocktail.
The cocktails, like I know, look the realist.
Like they look real.
And they're real coffee.
Yeah, and they're,
You'll hear a lot more about this topic if you guys stay tuned. We have a bonus episode coming up, actually, and it'll be in a couple of weeks, where
behind the scenes
we kind of dive deep into the coffee in the cup. But what is it with the coffee? And because now I don't remember. Did she have a to-go cup, Amanda, in the scene? So why with the to-go cups, where they're the most protected? Like they have a cover, so if there is water in it or whatever,
give me a break. And it almost like leaned up against like the flowers, I think, at one point and tilted. I was like, that's empty. Like that's empty.
It just flies out of her hand, like literally blows away because there's no liquid in it.
Whoop. And it's so funny, since we were talking about in our behind the scenes interview, I was obsessive in this episode about the levels of the drinks during all the lunches and stuff. I kept looking around to see, like,
I don't think I watched for that because I watched it the first time around before we did our interview, I think. So
yeah.
Did I?
Yeah.
Actually, yes, it was before. Okay, that's why. I'm like, that's funny. Well, if you guys listen to our bonus episode coming up, you will also start to look at the levels of the drinks in all the cups, probably. Okay. This is when she runs into Bitsy, and Bitsy basically says, so I was called her Sarah Jessica Parker. Carrie does confide in her and saying she's having a hard time with reading the book. She fell apart or something like that. And she's just basically, see, this is interesting. So she says, I thought I got through like the year. And Bitsy says, no one ever tells you that's the dirty little secret, that the second year is the worst. And I just had lunch with a bunch of my cousins a week ago. I don't know what day it is, a week ago. And they had lost my uncle. It'll be 2 years in August. And that's what they were all saying, is that the second year is the worst. Because the first, you're kind of like in a fog, I think, and just kind of going through stuff. And then I think the second year is when it really, really hits you. That's what they were saying.
Yeah.
So,
But she gave really good advice too. Actually, I like the quote a lot.
Oh, it was from the Kabbalah. And you know what? I almost wrote it down.
I did. Yeah,
Nothing will fill the hole, but something can grow around it. Something like that.
So plant
right?
the seeds and
so plant the
I
seeds.
loved it.
Yeah, that was
a good reminder.
Yeah. And so she's like, do whatever you need to do to feel better. So she goes shoe shopping, of course. Boy. And then she starts to read the chapter. And then she's like, forget it. She has that giant paperclip. Also, I was hoping she would put on her readers because she does need those to read, but she didn't. So I was a little like, that's unrealistic. And she was like, forget it. So she calls and says she has COVID.
People joke too. They're like, oh, want to get a free 14-day vacation.
But you got to show a positive test usually, not for this. But
Right. Yeah.
We did when we were going to the Golden Girls thing.
Oh, yeah.
We went to a Golden Girls
that's right.
experience. Golden Girls experience in the city. They have a Friends one. I think they have a Titanic one. And I got COVID. I mean, we had gotten tickets for this like months in advance. Thankfully, we had not booked a hotel room at that point. I got COVID and we were like, oh man. And you tried to give away the tickets at first and you were like, oh, free. I'm like, no, we're going. And so they needed to see a picture of my positive test, which I had thrown in the garbage, but then I found it. So, I'm glad I have that on my phone. So I'll just.
I know, right? Just in case. Just you want to get
out.
We
did go. No. We did reschedule. We went and we stayed at the refinery and it was great. And it was for your half birthday, sort of.
So much fun.
It's a good time. Okay.
It's good memories. Went to Claire's.
Fantastic. Shout out to Sex Lives of College Girls for that
one. Oh boy.
Okay. Yeah. Keeps going back. Okay. Now we go to Miranda and she's thinking about getting a tattoo. And she wants to capture this moment in her life and not slip back to what she used to be. I Googled this tattoo artist like nobody's business because he came across to me as a real person. Like I was like, is this a real tattoo place in LA? Because Sex and the City always did this. They picked real places. Yeah. I figured if he was some sort of famous tattoo artist, the reason I thought he was not an actor was his acting abilities. Sorry. Not that he just, the way he spoke was very, come on, Miranda. You had a lot of pressure on it. Like it was like he was reading. Yeah. Sorry, but it was. And his name's Ricky. I could not find him. So. Maybe I couldn't even find the act. Like I couldn't find anything on it. And I guess it's because it's too soon. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know who he was. He was cute. So, okay, blah, blah, blah. She calls Carrie to talk to her about this tattoo. And Carrie's like, it's time for you to come back.
Absolutely. I would have said the same thing. Get out of there. You're not getting a tattoo. Don't do it.
Well, I wouldn't have done that. I would have said, do whatever you want to do. So anyway, she lies to Miranda about the COVID, which that shocked me. Shocked me at first. I was like, but then I kind of got it, and then I wrote, she's totally going to actually get it by the end of the show.
Right.
I knew it. I knew it.
Yeah. Full circle for sure.
This is funny because my son was just talking about this like the day before, that this was back. He said kids were competing about having COVID and saying that they had it and that like they were competing that they'd had it. And I was like, well, most people compete and say like, I haven't had it. Like Donovan, as far as I know, has not had it. I mean, we've tested him. He's been sick. I've had it twice. Dave had it. He never tested positive unless he did and he just didn't test. I mean, he had the flu and everything. But that was tested with the doctor. I know Jacoby had it. Did Devin ever have it?
Jacoby had it? I can't remember. I actually don't remember if
Devin has never had it. So I wonder if
he did, we didn't test him.
Didn't know. Yeah. Well, so either that. I mean, know. Every time Donovan had a cold,
they are vaccinated, but
it didn't matter. That doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. And no, it really doesn't. I mean, I know people have their own, but I'm all set. I don't think I need. We had to get vaccinated. Like the kids,
right, to
we
go
got
on that
vaccinated,
cruise.
But we had to get the kids vaccinated.
But that was last summer. I mean, he doesn't.
Yeah, and we had to do a booster and everything. You had to be like super up to date with it. I think Jacoby or Devin
Oh,
both had
right.
to get a
You
booster.
had to
Or
have
one of them did.
you had to have both in time for the cruise. I'm sorry. Yeah, that makes sense. But
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, they
saying
have
you
both.
did that back in August. So it's
Yeah,
not like I'm saying
yeah,
he
I know.
never got, as far as you know. But
As far as I
whatever.
know.
Anyway, I just thought it was
Totally.
funny that he said that kids were competing to say they had it. And I was like, it's actually not a bragging thing to say you've had
Sorry,
it. So
guys.
stupid. Kids. Okay. I guess they were just trying to make each other feel better.
Yeah.
And made Donovan feel bad, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Kids are jerks. Okay.
You've never had COVID.
I don't think they said that to him, but like,
no.
But I wouldn't put it past him. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Blah blah. Da, 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 da. Okay. Yes, it had. All right. Da da da. Okay. Carrie's in her closet, by the way. I don't know if you noticed this, and she's using plastic hangers. Okay.
I'm so glad you said it because I wrote that. I was talking like,
who the heck who likes your clothes? If you like your clothes at all,
they're on velvet hangers.
You do
what
not
in the trips to the
those
Salvation Army are those? What? And no offense, but that was like some stuff from like back in the like
they're store ones, like you. And I like the noise they make. I actually love the noise they make because I think it reminds me of shopping. Like you're like, but no, those are worse, I think, than just the plastic rubbery ones.
Because they leave like
the
they're
line in them
to Marshalls with, right? Isn't that like what they have at the Marshalls?
That's what I'm saying, in the store. That's why at first when I saw her clicking through, I thought she was in a store. I was like, damn, she's shopping.
Those belong in a big bin somewhere. Like just a bin. Those are bin hangers that people
actually
like
Target. You take them off when you buy clothes at Target. You take them, even if self-checkout, you take them off and you put them. By the way, we're both wearing black sleeveless shirts. Mine says the Beatles on it, but still, I thought that's
actually
funny. A dress. Oh, it's a dress. Oh no, I'm wearing sweats.
Target, shout out. Universal thread.
Oh, this is not Target. This is a surf shop, I believe.
Cute.
I think it's from Brave New World in New Jersey. I love Brave New World. I would love to pretend I'm a surfer. Like their clothes are really cool. They're in the best shape of their lives. They're not scared. Anyway. Okay. Let's see.
Somebody play.
All right, the hangers. Where am I with? Okay.
The hangers really bothered me.
I do love her blouse, by the way.
Yes. But did you love it more than the Monopoly sweatshirt?
No, and I'll get into that too.
Okay.
I got a whole thing with that. So I took a picture of it. So I just want to and then also, all right, let me start with the blouse. Okay. So I took a picture of the blouse and then I'm like, you know what? Not that I'm going to probably buy the blouse, but I was like, well, let me go on. For those of you who don't know, shopyourtv.com. It's awesome. You go on, they list they've gotten bigger and bigger over the years because I've looked at that before in the past. I think when we started this podcast, I had known about it already and I would reference it for outfits, accessories, all that stuff. They list all these shows. Abbott Elementary is on there. I mean, I don't know, everything. I looked for the blouse. I couldn't find it. So I think I was on their Instagram page or something, or maybe it was on the website. And they said, if you don't see something, go on our Facebook page and post it. And like, we'll try to find it for you. And I was like, oh my God. So I went on, I joined the Facebook group. You got to join the Facebook group. I posted this picture of it, which again, I took it out of my TV. And someone, she's not an admin, but she's a top contributor, like wrote back pretty quickly. She's like, I've scanned this and I've gotten some similar looking ones. I don't know how she scanned it. She's like, if the picture was clearer, I might be able to find it, but I cannot find this blouse. I was like, okay. So I said, maybe I'll try to get you a clear one. I mean, I couldn't, because it's off the TV. I can't even find it like as a picture online. So then the next picture I took, I couldn't believe you saw these shoes that literally it's a deflated balloon.
I didn't like those.
They are the ugliest shoes I've ever seen. They talked about
and they were probably the most expensive.
They're $1,200. Someone did post it on someone posted it on one of, because people are morons. People will be like, I gotta have those. I have to have those. Apparently they were on the runways. That's what Michael Petra King said.
To have that kind of disposable money.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The brand.
To be like, I'm going to get the balloon shoes and wear them one
look
time.
At them. They're not even cuter. Like,
they're not. It looks like
something's wrong.
Mind. It looks like the Oscar Mayer mobile thing.
Oh, it does.
Like
Oh my
with
God.
like why don't
Yeah.
you just throw some ketchup and mustard on the side with that
Yeah.
too, in a bun?
You know
Like
what? The
what
shoe
is
should have been
that?
yellow. Then the balloon could have been red. I mean,
Seriously,
they
that
had
was
black ones where they were all black, all black.
oh
But
wow.
anyway, 1200. They're made by Loewe, Loewe, if I'm saying it right. Women's red balloon leather sandals. It's free shipping. So
Okay.
yeah. Oh,
Well,
here, and
thank
here are the
goodness.
black ones.
Mm.
I mean,
No,
it's so wrong.
no.
It's not so wrong. It's right. It's just wrong, and it's horrible. And it looks like you would fall somehow.
I, they
I
don't look
was
comfortable.
very anyway. Well, it got us talking. So
Well, that's what they would hope for.
yeah, yeah. Then so as soon as she gets off the phone with Miranda, Charlotte
Mhm.
calls and knows that she has COVID. She's like, "I'm gonna make you food." And she's like, "No." She's like, "I already sent over a box of salted caramels."
Oh, so
Anyway,
good.
then we go to SEMA looking for her bag. Now this is I did zoom in on her looking at it. It's $28,995. Okay.
I mean, that's wow.
Yeah. I wrote OMG. Then Seema and Anthony are at lunch waiting for Carrie. Now, this was really funny. So she forgot, obviously. But Anthony, I love it. Oh, he's like, now she has COVID. That's very off trend for her. I love that because back this past winter, the flu was like running rampant. Like my son
Right.
had it. I don't know. I never got it. I don't know. Neither did Dave, which was shocking. But the flu was very trendy this
it was
winter.
very trendy.
And
Your
my
son
brother-in-law,
got sick a lot this year, unfortunately.
I felt like the flu lasted forever. Like, yeah, it was terrible. I guess it would be because it was finally the first year where the masks were off like the whole year of his career, of his academic career. Yeah. But what was I say? So Christmas time, my brother-in-law, we go to their house for Christmas and he went and got COVID. And I texted him. I was like, he went and got COVID. I was like, you are really off trend right now. I was like, I tell him that. I'm like, you're not trending because the flu is. No, and I was like, at least get the flu instead. So we had to move to Christmas. We went on New Year's Day instead. I mean, we didn't move Christmas, but anyway. Right. But it was funny because that's what I said to him. Okay. All right. They figure out who did the MILF list. His name's Milo H. H for hot.
I hope Milo H is 18, by the way.
In real life.
Because the way that they were...
he has to be in real life. He's probably... Actually, I should have Googled him. I'm sure he's like 25.
Right.
But yes, people were very upset in the Facebook group saying they're ogling a child, a minor. I'm like, I don't know.
It's a show.
Down.
But he's not.
But I
really.
thought you would love LTW's line. I feel like Blanche Dubrow. I feel like Blanche Dubrow. I thought of you. Okay. Yeah. All right. Dubois. I said it wrong. Sorry. It's Blanche Dubois. I said Dubrow. Oh my God. I'm thinking about Heather Dubrow. And she said Dubois. I know. I swear she said Dubois because I wrote it down. It's Devereaux.
She did. She didn't. I was like, wait, did she mean Blanche Devereaux? Or
why would they mess that up?
I mean, even in the show, Blanche, that's her real name.
Isn't that weird?
She, in the show, will say Blanche Devereaux. That's how she pronounces it. So I don't know.
Oh my God, now I feel like replaying. Okay. Yeah. The punishment for Milo is going to go on his record, definitely it's going to go on his record. It will affect his college application, all this stuff. Charlotte tries to defend him. And those other moms are looking at her. And by the way, those are all the Zoom moms. I forgot about that. Because when they would meet on Zoom, they're all the same ladies from that. Then Greg, who is Tim Bagley, says, then he finds out. I just love when he goes, yes, Charlotte. She's like, Greg, is this really a... I don't know what she says. He's like, yes, Charlotte. I mean, how did they do that without laughing? When you started laughing? Okay.
I'm sure that was a few takes.
Then Greg gets it. Literally, someone hands him a notebook, a pad, and it says a legal pad, but he's like, apparently there were moms in the hallway ogling one of the students. There were. Yeah. I love that whole part. Okay.
Oh, that's great.
Miranda's waiting in line for the taping, which I thought was kind of odd. I was like, she has to wait in
like,
line?
get out of LA already. Can we just make her more awkward and like out of place?
Yeah. But why would she have to wait in line? She's their partner. I mean, what? I don't know. I thought that was kind of messed up.
There's probably some whatever. Again, anyway, I'm like, okay, yeah. I'm just really annoyed by this. Like, can we beef up Miranda's storyline a little bit here? Because now it's getting depressing.
I did like the part with her and Brady. She gets a call from Brady finally. The new phone sucks. Louisa broke up with him. So he's really upset. That whole part I thought was really well done, like good acting and everything. When he says the car almost hit him and he wished it would, that really hit me too. And then how Che's like downplaying it. I know someone personally whose son killed himself after his girlfriend broke up with him. It was a very quick decision. She had just broken up with him. There was no note, nothing. There's a whole, according to what I've heard, there's research done with this, that it happens in males usually, what they say, I don't know if it's like 16 to 25, something like that. And it's this thing in their brain, just like making a very rash decision. So this part really, very impulsive. I couldn't think of that word.
Yeah.
And it has happened, and it can happen. So you take anything like that. Don't take anything like that lightly.
Never.
At all.
Ever.
So, of course she doesn't want to give her phone. I kind of, of course, wouldn't make the story, but I was like, well, why don't you text him, say, I can't have the phone, please. I know she was dying to hear from him, the whole thing, whatever. So of course the phone FaceTime rings at a very pivotal point in the taping where Che was like really well done. And of course it ruins the whole scene. And
where do you think they filmed the scene where he was? In a studio?
Do you think that was person? Sorry, Brady?
Brady. Was that down downtown? Where like the brick where we were down at the seaport? Like I just can't. I was like, that can't. They didn't. It wasn't really in Amsterdam or wherever he was. Like, I was just curious. Maybe it was
that could have been in Warner, if they still do Warner, not Warner Brothers. Wait, there's a studio, Silver Cup Studios, that they used to film
in Queens.
Yeah, and they used to film her apartment scenes. Were always there. I don't know if they still do that. Right. I mean, they could come up here and film.
Right. I know. Yeah.
As we know.
I mean, if SJP needs a backyard patio bar, I mean, I can whip up a Cosmo, no doubt.
Anyway, that's a good question. I don't know. I didn't even Google that.
Yeah.
But maybe we could Google it and find out. I'm sure he wasn't in Amsterdam. I don't think they do that. But it was probably, it could have been in a street in the city. Yeah, downtown on the cobblestone.
It's got to be.
Now I'm going to have to Google that. Oh, by the way, I think we were talking about Abbott Elementary, but the name of those darn drums, okay, this is totally off topic, everybody, are called cocktail drums.
Oh,
so
I love that.
Side note, my husband plays the drums. He played these cocktail drums with this gentleman, Bruce Ackerman, who would play guitar, and then I would come in and sing a few songs, and it was all old country music. So that's where that's from. If you guys don't listen to our Abbott Elementary commentary, I couldn't remember the name of the darn drums. Okay. So where are we now? Okay, the taping. Okay. This ruins it. They go outside. Miranda, she leaves or whatever, and Miranda calls Charlotte immediately, like freaking out. She calls Carrie for the tattoo and Charlotte for the mom stuff. And she got a flight, and then also Brady's coming home. And then next scene, Seema brings lunch. Carrie finally tells her she doesn't have COVID. Okay, this Monopoly sweatshirt. I did put a post on both. I don't know. I'm part of a few Facebook groups for Just Like That. So I know I did it in Just Like That Facebook group, and then also the Shop Your TV one, because I couldn't believe this wasn't posted. So here's a picture right? It's the Monopoly New York. It's on Etsy. It says hurry going fast. It's $32.80. If you want, I'll put a link description. I couldn't believe nobody said anything about that sweatshirt. Okay. She didn't tell her friends. Carrie didn't tell her friends because she didn't want to put them through it. Seema, tells her crawl into bed if she wants to. And then Seema's sort of comparing the loss of the bag to the loss of Big.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is it's okay in this show.
Yeah. But and they are having a rosé, and I was trying to see it was not Sarah Jessica Parker's rosé,
no,
which I was hoping it was
going
to be. You could see a little like flower on it, like not a flower, like a branch with a flower.
Her rosé from the wine delivery that I use has been out of stock. And it's so delicious. Is it in Vino? I can't remember who she partnershiped with, but I've been able to get her Sauvignon Blanc consistently, and I always put 2 in my order because the wine is actually really good, and the rosé though was delicious.
Yes, you bought that for me.
Wonder.
And you hadn't even tried it, and you got it for me, so it was very nice.
Yeah,
it's very good. I sniff too much, by the way. Listening to the recordings. That's how. When I sniff, maybe put your finger up, and I'll be like,
"Stop sniffing!
Stop sniffing!" It sounds terrible, and I can't cut everything out. Okay. All right. Lisette's jewelry pop-up thingy is that night. We find out. We go back to LA. Miranda apologizes to Che. Che doesn't totally get it. I don't agree with Che at all. I mean, it was messed up that Miranda messed up the taping.
Yeah.
But the fact
Tony Danza did a fantastic job keeping everything cool.
I love him so much.
Shout out to Who's the Boss.
He looks so tiny and skinny. I know I think he's a tiny person, but I always thought of him as bigger, like when we watch Who's the Boss, and he looks so tiny now. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. All right. The pop-up with the cater waiter stealing the jewelry. This part drove me nuts. I watched it again because I thought I missed something. I'm like, did he have a gun? Like, he didn't have a weapon. And everyone's just going, stop it. Why? Everyone would have whipped out a phone.
Nobody would have.
Somebody would have whipped out a phone. I could see people being scared to physically touch him because God knows what's going to happen. But nobody whips out a phone. And then he's demanding Carrie's necklace, and she's like, please no. Yeah. I'm like, I would have been like, are you talking to me? Like, what do you mean? You're literally 2 feet away. I'm like,
and there's all these people. We can't do something like in that. I don't know. That was corny to me.
That type of thing with the security guards not around at all. Like they came, and then of course she screams.
They're not standing by the darn jewelry.
By the actual jewelry.
Give me a break. Where were they? By the
that was a
pastries?
Little. That was a little. That drove me nuts. And then what was the other part? Oh, when she screams, I have COVID, and everybody just ran away. Would everybody really scream and run like that now? Like,
but when she busts out the gun lighter.
Oh, when she pulled the gun out, I was like, yes. I was like, that's what I would have done. And it looked so James Bond. It was like gold. That was great. But I will say, I have a little bit of a story to compare that to. It's a little different. It wasn't in New York City. My husband has antiques, and he did this big antique show in Miami. And he had a friend meet him there and was like kind of helping him out. And this friend is very into antiques and everything. And he asked his friend to watch the booth while he, I think, went for a walk. His friend needed to fix his shirt, he said, because something happened with the tucking, and he went into the bathroom for just a second, and someone stole one of my husband's lampshades. A tiny one. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
So upset. And to try to get, there's cameras, all that. My husband was just so frustrated, like spoke to the Miami police. He spoke to security there. He didn't even tell me about it at first when it happened because he was so upset. I think I found out about it like a couple days later. He was still away, but they were no help at all. And he said, he's like, they have a thing like when they have people by the doors when people leave, like you can't come in with bags. There's like all these rules and stuff that it's not actually that hard, and just to no avail. Like there was nobody who was helping him. And this is this is an antique show. Like this is something, again, like her having a jewelry pop-up.
Yeah.
So,
whatever.
That drove me nuts. Okay. Brady and okay. So sorry. So this is when they get home. Okay, sorry. I'm like all over the place. All right. The security finally shows up and they're like, man, there's no smoking. She's like I'm the problem.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
Anyway,
get out of here.
So Miranda goes home. She's sitting on the couch. Also, where's Steve? I know he'll be probably in the next episode, but like
he is.
Right?
I looked at the
the preview.
The previews.
Yeah. But she did get a tattoo of her initials, so she stayed true to herself on her wrist. And Brady comes in. It was a little big.
Oh. I thought it was too big.
Okay, you have to start with your judgment. You're stop being a Karen.
Okay. I mean, yeah, stay true to yourself.
Just kidding.
Like, just get something that will be covered up.
It's not your tattoo or your body.
I know.
Stop.
I know. You're right. Okay.
And it's not real.
Sorry.
She didn't really get MH.
She licked it to get. It was a stamp on. It was. So she really got this tattoo.
Okay.
Oh dear me.
Brady comes in and he's sobbing. That part killed me too. I was crying. I cried a few times in this episode.
The mama bear comes on.
And he's like, everyone's totally breaking up. I know.
Oh my
god. And she's like, I'm not breaking up. We're not breaking up. Anyway. Okay. Next scene is Seema. I think it's another unrealistic. But I liked it. I liked the music.
Yes, I know.
And Seema finds her bag ditched. And it looks fine.
In a bush.
Looks perfectly clean.
Nobody.
Excuse me.
Nobody.
Yeah, I know. You'd think, right? Anyway.
But being stuck behind the garbage is real because we've driven in New York City and that.
Yeah.
And
all that was real. And she's like, I'll just walk. I mean, that was totally real. Yeah. And Carrie, this part also made me cry too. Carrie goes to see Lisette. She opens the door with the key, and I was like, "Wait, what?" I guess there was an emergency key there. I don't know. She had said Carrie had said, I'm not one to take to lying down or something like that, or take to the bed or whatever. And she lays down with her, which was really sweet. And Lisette obviously feels like she has a big loss and she has to start all over again. And Carrie's like, I know how you feel. That part I think I teared up too.
Yeah.
Carrie finished the recording. I think I teared up for that too.
Chapter 3 is done.
She's out to dinner with Seema. And as soon as I saw the scene and I saw Seema with like the sequin dress, I was like, wait, did she bring the Birkin? I'm like, and she brought the Birkin. Because it didn't really go with her outfit, but I was like very excited she brought the Birkin.
Yeah.
They're at this communal table, which that part I thought, like this whole part felt very Sex in the City and fun and everything. Like I thought it was good. And there are gentlemen there from Sydney, Australia, and they come and sit with her, and she's just COVID.
Just like that, I got COVID.
Just like that.
Yeah, that was cute.
The ending song, which I hope it doesn't play, I did have to look it up. Punctual, it says. Punctual, Do It All Again, featuring Jordan Shaw, Monster Cat lyric video. So I'll try to find it when I do the story, and I'll play it.
Nice.
Yeah. And just like that. That's the end.
And just like that. That's the end.
Yep.
Good episode.
I just got another inquiry about our offering here.
Nice.
So for those of you who don't know, we put out a thing on Instagram asking if people who are local to the Hudson Valley, who are business owners, artists, entrepreneurs, restaurant owners, anything else, influencers who would like to
Yeah.
come and join us and recap an episode of a show that we talk about on here, we'd love to have you on, and you can promote yourself. And, you know, this is going to be long running, like I would think, you know, we'll be doing
if you're
different
interested,
shows
we'll
in the
just be
fall.
like, hey, watch this episode and we'll record it on this day. We'll work it out and it'll be fun. Even if you don't watch the series.
Yeah. And if you don't watch the series, but you're like, oh, I'll watch that. Because I have had people message me and clearly like they don't watch the shows and I don't think they really want to. And that's fine. It just wants to be a fun thing. And, you know, there's a couple things you got to have, you know, be nice for you to have. Like headphones are really important. You have to be on Chrome. You get a link. You have to be on Chrome, which I had forgotten about, to be honest. An external mic is really great, but if you don't have one, that's fine. But really, the headphones are important, in the Chrome, and a laptop or a PC, not a phone. And yeah, so we'll see. I don't know. I got another message. So if you'd like to do that, that sounds good. Let us know. You can always give us a shout. I have all the links.
Oh, yes.
You'll find us.
Inundate
you
people.
Can't stay away from us, actually.
No, we're everywhere. So sorry about that, but not really. Thanks for listening.
All right. Bye.